So your views are down. You are experiencing less reach than you have experienced before. And let me tell you that I get it. I have been there myself, and I'm gonna help you navigate out of this. You may have seen a drop in your reach, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Today, I'm gonna specifically be talking about TikTok and Instagram. I wanna briefly let you know, I hear you, I see you. The views reach algorithm is constantly being tweaked, like Shaquille O'Neal as a DJ. Once upon a time was a great basketball player. Now he is a famous DJ. So shout out Shaquille O'Neal. The point is that you're not Shaquille O'Neal and you are not the person behind the scenes tweaking the knobs. So what do you have to do? You have to be constantly looking at how Instagram is ranking content and TikTok as well. Now, the good news is that there are millions, and I mean millions of content creators who are currently winning right now on Instagram and TikTok. So it tells us that people are able to break through. It's just we got to figure out how to get you to break through. And so anytime we're talking about algorithmic reach, the algorithm is always trying to optimize for what keeps people's attention the longest. They just want you to spend more time on the platform. So if the algorithm is always optimizing for what keeps people's attention, and they're looking at creators who are putting up pieces of content that aren't keeping people's attention, they're going to continue to focus on those who are keeping attention. That's why you have creators who can be blamed for creating mindless content or slop even.
To the table, waiting for the signal.
And there's the buzzer!
Splashes into the gravy. Oh, look at that viscosity.
There's types of content that are going viral right now, constantly getting prioritized in the feed that don't provide you a sense of value. And so you have this feeling of either I have to completely sacrifice my soul to go create this mind-numbing content, or I just create what I want to create, and I want to be an artist and I want to make things that I want to make. And so the number one thing that you guys need to do as you start to create content is get clear on what it is that you are creating. Now, this is not for the algorithm. This is not for your grandma.
Bye, Grandma. Thanks for the ride.
This is legitimately for you and your soul. Can you commit to creating a piece of content at scale, in high velocity, in high volume, for a long period of time? And I don't believe that you can do that unless you have conviction in that space, unless you love doing that. A lot of creators fall into the trap of creating something that's really funny for a season and then stopping to create in that space forever, because that's not who they are, it's not what they want to do, but they know it works. And so my approach to this has been, how can we get you creating content in an area that you love, that you are passionate about, and that passion can extend for a period of time? Or else we're gonna have a really high rise in terms of views, and then you're never gonna wanna create again because it just dries your soul. So first thing you have to do is get really clear on what it is that you're creating. Now, when you have made that choice and that commitment to creating that type of bucket, and I believe it should be done before the success comes, because if it's not done before the success comes, then again, you're gonna have these massive waves and you're not gonna be able to sustain the lows that you might feel right now. And so be committed to the type of content you're gonna make. The next thing that you wanna do when you are setting out on this journey to create content is to look at how people are using the platforms where you are uploading. So if you're uploading content to TikTok and Instagram right now, you have to understand how the algorithm is distributing the content and know whether or not you want to break those rules and be an artist, or be on the marketing side and really work to get an audience. I believe that you can do both. I believe you can have your cake and eat it too. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg, you definitely can do that. Of the creators that you follow that are winning, what type of content are they posting? How are they engaging their audience? And this changes for every niche on each platform. So what I would advise you to do is go on TikTok or Instagram right now, find a creator that you resonate with, maybe that might be slightly niche adjacent, somebody who creates kind of similar content to you, and or someone who creates very different content than you, but you can look at what they are doing to win. So for me, we're gonna use Alex Hormozi as an example of this. Now, Alex has seen a wave of content performance throughout the years. He's heavily using trial reels right now. But for example, when I look at his content, it is pretty much a lot of him not direct to camera. It's him talking to a crowd, talking to an audience. And I'm also looking at how the platform is prioritizing the content from him. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at that and go, okay, if I'm creating content in this space, well then a lot of this back and forth content not necessarily goes out the window, but it makes me have to tweak what I'm doing to match what is actually succeeding on the algorithm. Now, I'm not trying to just rip all of their formats, but I am trying to at least put myself in the category with them where we're creating content. Because if someone likes that kind of content, and they're consuming that type of content, the algorithm right now is going to supply them with additional types of content that feel like that content. Now, for my artists out there where this makes you feel like you want to stab yourself, the reality is that you can be creative even in this space, but you have to understand that when I go to the radio and I turn on a radio, shout out radios, the volume for every song is at the same level. There might be creators or musicians out there who go, I want mine to be super loud, and somebody's like, I want mine to be super quiet. But there is this normalizing of, hey, we've all committed to upload songs at the same volume level. In the same way, it's good for you to look at what other creators are doing and understand what that master volume is across the board, so that you can choose to break the rules or bend them or abide by them. But you have to be able to know what the master volume is of social media once you start stepping in. Now, with the assumption that you've had views in the past, or you've had reach in the past, and it's been totally plummeted right now, there are some really hard conversations that we have to have. One, have you lost passion? Are you disengaged from the content that you're creating? The next is the content that you're creating too niche specific? Have you really changed what you've done and become very siloed into a specific bucket of content? Because maybe once upon a time you were posting funny videos or comedy videos, you built an audience and then you changed your core to something totally different. Maybe you used to create funny videos, now you create knitting videos. Shout out to my knitters.
So what are you doing there, Barry? You want to explain?
I'm bowling.
You changed, and that content changed. The algorithm will look at that and go, wait, they were uploading Mr. Beast style challenge funny videos. Now they're creating videos for a much smaller niche. Why would we serve this content to their audience? And that perhaps per se, interestingly enough, is the reason that your content is dropping dramatically right now, because it's no longer looking at your following as the place to distribute content to. It's looking at where are people paying attention and how do we distribute that content there, much like a referral system versus you've built this 200,000 follower base who you think loves you for you, and instead Instagram's going, no. You built a piece of content that was very viral in its nature, and then you changed it to knitting, and there's just way less people interested in knitting.
I'm bowling.
The biggest change is that walking away from this audience that you've built and now into an interest-based world. And if that interest is just small, don't expect this mass success like you used to have. And so how do we fix that? That is the question. How do we get your reach back up? The way that we're gonna do that is by, again, making sure we're clear, making sure we're creating content that other creators are creating, that is a normalized volume. And again, not creating content other creators are creating, but we are creating content that, again, fits the overall volume. It fits the world that people are getting value from. And we are looking, I think, a hard look at your content. Is your content different than it was when you were seeing big views? Are you creating content that speaks the language of social media? When I sit down and talk to anybody about social media, the way that we address trends and all these different type of things that are happening in social media is much more akin to language than it is creative freedoms. Because clients that we work with, clients that I sit down and talk to, are very interested in communicating their language. And the problem is that no one else speaks their language except for maybe people who have bought from them in the past. So the big challenge for brands right now is understanding that social media is like a different language that we all speak together. And so it's why you have really popular brands making trending content, or really oversized creators that are sitting in and submitting themselves to memes, because that's how we communicate. Your content may be the reason why you are not getting views anymore. It's the hard truth. Your content has probably changed since you were getting views. And if we want to restore the views that we saw before, we have to start looking at the hard truth, our content. Why did we shift it? What did we change? And have we ever dove down into that world of the current content we're creating and looked at, okay, if I want to win in this new niche that I'm in, what do I have to do to get there? If I want to find an audience, what do I have to do to get there? And so being willing to have that hard conversation is the first step in really charting out this world where you're getting more views. Because if you did it before, you're very likely to be able to get them again. If you've gotten millions of views before, you're very likely to be able to get millions of views again. It's just you have to start understanding, okay, I want to speak the language of where people are instead of trying to make everyone speak my language. And that is the challenge that we're having with social media right now. I want you guys to think through a list of questions to ask yourself before you set out to create your next piece of content. Question number one is this content designed to get attention? Stop the scroll. Question number two is this content worth watching to the end? And already, if you as the creator are answering no to both of those things, then we may have a problem. So I would say go back, fix the opening hook lines, fix the reason to watch to the end. And lastly, are you building a world that people can step into? Formatting is king right now. Across the board, formatting is king. These accounts that do one format over and over and over and over again are winning. And there's a reason for that, because it makes it really easy to know exactly what you do. If you're answering any one of these questions with a no, I'm not, it gives you homework on what to go back and work on. So if you're looking to heal your reach, get your views back, start here, and I'll be here to help you all along the way. This is the Zach Ford YouTube show. I'll see you guys on the next episode.